Sweeping regulations are forcing companies to rethink AI overnight, but the real collision is just beginning. When autonomous systems, massive penalties, and human behavior converge, the biggest threat may not be
What is the truth about future outlook and AI risk leadership? Are the biggest threats really lurking in the shadows of the dark web? Or are they already sitting inside your office?
We often imagine AI risk as a sci-fi scenario, rogue hackers hijacking neural networks to bring down global corporations. But the reality is far more mundane and much more dangerous. The true threat isn't a malicious outsider breaking in. It's an everyday employee simply trying to do their job faster.
Just how exposed are the world's top companies to algorithmic disasters today? Everyone is rushing to integrate artificial intelligence, but who is actually checking the safety harnesses before the roller coaster drops?
The adoption numbers are staggering yet terrifying. In the United States alone, 95% of companies report using AI in their daily production environments. But here is the chilling catch. Only 18% of those organizations actually align their risk and compliance efforts with this new technology. Globally, a mere 26% of organizations even comprehend their true exposure to AI-related threats.
Why can't we just use the same cybersecurity and risk frameworks that have protected corporate data for the last 2 decades? What makes artificial intelligence so fundamentally different to govern?
Traditional risk management is built on certainty. It relies on deterministic systems. If you input A, you will always get B. But modern AI is probabilistic. It hallucinates, it adapts, and it rarely gives the exact same answer twice. You cannot apply a static, predictable checklist to a system that is constantly rewriting its own logic.
What exactly happens when a major corporation lets an unchecked AI make critical business decisions? How fast can an algorithm destroy a company's bottom line?
Look no further than Zillow. In late 2021, their automated home pricing algorithm went rogue. Without proper human oversight or risk guardrails, the AI systematically overpaid for thousands of properties. The result? An $881 million loss and the termination of 2,000 employees. It was a brutal wake-up call that AI failures aren't just technical glitches, they are existential corporate threats.
Who is actually standing between a company's aggressive push for AI profits and an algorithmic disaster? Who takes the fall when the machine makes an $800 million mistake?
Enter the AI risk manager. Once a niche compliance monitor, this role has rapidly become the most stressful job in tech. They face a severe emotional toll, acting as the sole bottleneck between relentless executive demands for ROI and catastrophic algorithmic failure. They are the enterprise-wide accountability anchor, balancing human resources, legal constraints, and corporate governance.
How are global regulators forcing these companies to finally take AI safety seriously? Is there a real financial penalty for ignoring algorithmic governance?
The days of Wild West AI are over. The new EU AI Act enforces brutal non-compliance penalties, up to 35 million euros or 7% of a company's global annual turnover. Suddenly, the AI risk repository is overflowing with over 1,000 cataloged risks, and global standards like ISO 42001 are making AI safety formally auditable by law.
So, what is the ultimate truth about future outlook and AI risk leadership? When the dust settles, who will be responsible for the greatest AI failures of the next decade? By 2026, at least 80% of unauthorized AI transactions will stem from internal employee policy violations, not malicious hackers. This surprising reality highlights why AI risk is fundamentally a socio-technical governance challenge rather than a purely mathematical problem. As the regulatory landscape tightens with the EU AI Act and the rise of autonomous agentic AI, the AI risk manager has evolved from a niche compliance monitor into a critical strategic leader. Building a professional identity in this space requires mastering cross-functional translation, securing elite credentials, and preparing to deploy guardian agents to police autonomous enterprise systems.
If coding isn't the most important skill for an AI risk manager, what is the secret to surviving and thriving in this new era of autonomous agents?
The most critical skill is translation. An AI risk leader must be able to take complex, probabilistic algorithmic math and translate it flawlessly into legal boundaries and business strategy. They aren't just policing code, they are governing human behavior. As we step into the age of agentic AI, the companies that survive will be the ones who realize that managing artificial intelligence is, at its core, about managing human intention.
We are standing on the precipice of a technological revolution that moves faster than our ability to regulate it. As autonomous systems begin to run our businesses, what is the truth about future outlook and AI risk leadership?
The truth is far darker and more complex than most executives realize. We are moving past the era of simple chatbots. Tomorrow's AI will make independent financial and operational decisions, shifting the burden of corporate survival directly onto a new, highly pressurized class of leaders.
Before we look to the future, we have to understand the immediate damage. When algorithms are given the keys to the kingdom without strict oversight, just how devastating can these failures be if leadership fails to implement proper guardrails? Look no further than Zillow. In 2021, an unchecked AI pricing model triggered a catastrophic $881 million loss, costing 2,000 people their jobs. Traditional risk management is completely obsolete here because AI is probabilistic. It rarely gives the exact same answer twice, making it incredibly difficult to predict when a system will suddenly go off the rails.
With cautionary tales like Zillow serving as a blaring alarm, you would expect boardrooms to be locking down their systems. If a multi-million-dollar collapse is just one bad algorithm away, why are so many major corporations still flying completely blind?
There is a massive disconnect between adoption and accountability. A staggering 95% of U.S. companies use AI in production, yet only 18% actively manage the risks. Leaders are paralyzed, overwhelmed by a chaotic landscape of over 1,000 officially cataloged AI risks spread across 56 different global frameworks.
Governments are no longer waiting for tech companies to self-correct. As the window for voluntary safety measures closes rapidly, what happens when global regulators finally step in to force compliance and hold executives personally accountable?
The financial hammer drops. Under the new EU AI Act, violating safety protocols can cost a company up to 35 million euros, or 7% of its global annual turnover. Suddenly, AI risk management isn't just a best practice or a suggestion. It is an absolute existential mandate for global enterprises.
The stakes are now astronomical, blending severe legal penalties with the potential for total brand destruction. When the threat of massive fines and public ruin looms over an organization, who actually bears the crushing burden of preventing these catastrophic failures?
The AI risk manager. Once viewed as a niche compliance monitor, this role now carries a severe emotional toll. These professionals act as the sole bottleneck between aggressive executive demands for rapid return on investment and catastrophic algorithmic failure. They are the unsung heroes holding the line against digital chaos, translating complex math into legal and business realities.
The job is about to get exponentially harder. As artificial intelligence evolves from passive tools into independent, proactive decision-makers, how can these human leaders possibly control systems that act entirely on their own?
We are entering the era of agentic AI. To maintain control, leaders must adopt rigorous, certifiable standards like ISO 42001. More importantly, they will have to fight fire with fire, preparing to deploy specialized guardian agents, which are AI systems specifically designed to police and audit autonomous enterprise systems in real time.
All of these forces, autonomous agents, massive regulatory fines, and overwhelmed risk managers, are on a collision course. When we synthesize these escalating threats, what does this ultimately mean for the future of AI risk leadership?
By 2026, at least 80% of unauthorized AI transactions will stem from internal employee policy violations, not malicious hackers. This surprising reality highlights why AI risk is fundamentally a socio-technical governance challenge rather than a purely mathematical problem. As the regulatory landscape tightens with the EU AI Act and the rise of autonomous agentic AI, the AI risk manager has evolved from a niche compliance monitor into a critical strategic leader.
Building a professional identity in this space requires mastering cross-functional translation, securing elite credentials, and preparing to deploy guardian agents to police autonomous enterprise systems.
The ultimate irony is that our only defense against rogue artificial intelligence is more artificial intelligence. As we hand over the keys to guardian agents to police our networks, are we truly ready to trust the machines that watch the machines?
The future of global business depends on it. As AI becomes deeply embedded in every corporate function, the true leaders of tomorrow won't be those who simply write the best code. They will be the visionaries who can architect trust, enforce accountability, and ensure human safety in an increasingly unpredictable digital world.
We started by asking, future outlook and AI risk leadership. And the answer? By 2026, at least 80% of unauthorized AI transactions will stem from internal employee policy violations, not malicious hackers. This surprising reality highlights why AI risk is fundamentally a socio-technical governance challenge, rather than a purely mathematical problem. If this changed how you see things, share it with someone who needs to hear it.